Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Aryna Sabalenka says practicing under pressure is key to improving her game after Cincinnati win. Aryna Sabalenka believes she has to be fearless during matches if she wants to become a better player after booking her place in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Open. The world number one produced a 6-1, 7-5 win over Jessica Booz's Monero on Wednesday to move into the last 8 of a WTA 1000 event for the 29th time in her career. Among active players, only Victoria Azarenka, 38, and Petra Kvitova, 36, have reached more. In terms of match wins, Sabalenka is one of the most successful female players at the Cincinnati Open in the Open era, with 21 victories. The only players to have achieved more wins than her are Jelena Jankovic, 24, Serena Williams, 23, and Simona Halep, 23. During her latest tournament, Sabalenka has noticeably been working on her net play with the help of her team, which includes newly appointed consultant Max Murney. I feel really comfortable approaching the net, but then I make some really not smart decisions at the net, but I feel really confident, Sabalenka explained during an interview with the Tennis Channel. I'm hoping that by the end of the week, I'll improve that stat and I'll be much better at the net. Instead of solely working on this area of her game on the practice courts, the 27-year-old explains it is important that she also does this when playing matches on the tour. I feel like this is the best way to practice something, to practice under pressure. It's really tough to do, she said. You have to be fearless in some way to do that. But I feel like I have to do that if I want to be better. So I'm pretty confident on court to do something new every time. Stating that she is moving in the right direction, Sabalenka's next test will be against former Wimbledon champion Aryna Rybakina, a player whom she leads 7-4 in their head-to-head. Rybakina is seeded 9th in the tournament and beat Madison Keys 6-7-3, 6-4, 6-2 in her latest match. It's going to be an aggressive match. Two big servers, and we played a lot of great battles in the past, said Sabalenka. I always enjoyed playing against her, and it's just going to be another great match, another great opportunity to work on something new, to improve my tennis. In the wake of her powerful and emotionally charged win at the Cincinnati Open, Aryna Sabalenka didn't bask in victory for long. Instead, she did something that defines the spirit of champions, she reflected. Speaking candidly to reporters and fans after her triumphant performance, Sabalenka emphasized a principle that many overlook in the pursuit of greatness. Practicing under pressure is the key to improving my game. This wasn't just a passing comment. It was a window into the mindset of one of tennis's fiercest and most evolving competitors. A look at how Aryna Sabalenka continues to shape her career, not just through raw power, but through mental and emotional discipline. The path to pressure, a journey through fire. For those who have followed Aryna Sabalenka's journey, her Cincinnati win wasn't just another title. It marked a culmination of months, even years, of struggle, adaptation, and psychological endurance. Known early in her career for her aggressive style, booming ground strokes, and fiery on-court demeanor, Sabalenka often found herself trapped in cycles of inconsistency. Her power was never in question. It was her ability to harness that power under pressure that became the focus of critics and coaches alike. In a sport where matches are decided by mental resilience as much as physical prowess, Sabalenka knew she needed to evolve. And she did, not by avoiding pressure, but by training inside it. The practice of pressure. Imagine standing at the baseline, knowing that the next serve could decide the match. Now imagine practicing that moment over and over again, until it no longer feels like a threat, but rather a familiar challenge, one you know how to conquer. This is what Sabalenka means by practicing under pressure. In her own words, you don't get better by just hitting balls. You get better by putting yourself in the moments that make your hands shake, your heart race, and your mind second-guess itself, and learning how to stay calm anyway. Sabalenka's training, particularly over the last year, has focused on recreating match-level pressure in practice. With the help of her coaching team, she's been simulating high-stakes scenarios, match points, break points, tie-breakers, not only to sharpen her physical game, but to rewire her emotional responses. This kind of training demands vulnerability. It's easy to play flawlessly when the stakes are low. It's much harder when the scoreboard reads 5-6 in the third set and you're down a break point, even if it's only practice. But for Sabalenka, these moments have become the cornerstone of her growth, turning chaos into clarity. What makes Sabalenka's approach so revolutionary isn't just the method. It's her willingness to embrace discomfort. Pressure in tennis is multifaceted. It comes from expectations of fans, coaches, media, and most of all, oneself. It comes from the fear of losing what's been earned, or failing to grasp what lies ahead. For years, Sabalenka battled internal storms during matches, often succumbing to frustration when things didn't go her way. There were double faults at critical moments, emotional outbursts, and visible struggles with momentum. But the Sabalenka we saw in Cincinnati was different. More grounded, more self-aware, more in control. She still played with the same intensity, but with a calmness that surprised even her fiercest opponents. Her serve, once a source of anxiety, flowed freely. Her returns were calculated but aggressive. Her body language, no longer reactive, but intentional. She didn't just win the tournament. She proved that chaos could be turned into clarity with the right mindset. Pressure is a catalyst, not a cage. To many athletes, pressure is a threat, something to be avoided or managed. But to Aryna Sabalenka, it's a catalyst, a tool, even a gift. This shift in mindset didn't happen overnight. It came from introspection and a deep understanding of herself as both a player and a person. I realized that the only way to not be afraid of pressure is to become friends with it, she said in her post-match interview. Now I look at pressure and say, okay, let's see what you've got. There's a beautiful paradox in her approach. By welcoming pressure into her practice sessions, she defangs it in real matches. She creates a familiarity with discomfort, so when it arrives under stadium lights, it feels less like an ambush and more like an old acquaintance. Lessons beyond the court. Sabalenka's philosophy isn't just for tennis. It's a universal lesson in personal growth. In life, we often wait for the perfect moment, when we feel ready, when things are calm, when we're confident, before taking risks. But those moments are rare. Growth happens in chaos, in pressure, in the times when we're unsure but keep going anyway. By choosing to train under pressure, Sabalenka isn't just preparing for matches. She's building emotional endurance. She's learning to stay calm when things don't go her way. She's trusting herself in the storm. And in doing so, she's inspiring countless others, not just athletes, but anyone facing a challenge, to lean into discomfort and see what they're truly made of. The Cincinnati effect, a new chapter. Her Cincinnati win wasn't a fluke. It was the result of deliberate, focused, emotionally intelligent work. Every ace she served, every rally she won, and every set she closed out was layered with months of mental training, of rehearsing how to breathe through tight moments, how to quiet the inner critic, and how to stay present. In the final, facing a rising opponent who pushed her to the brink, Sabalenka showed a masterclass in patience and power. She didn't rush. She didn't panic. She played each point with the confidence of someone who had already faced this scenario 100 times before, because she had. In her mind, in her practices, in her soul. Looking ahead, the pressure will continue. Aryna Sabalenka knows this isn't the end of the road. The tennis calendar moves fast, and Grand Slams, rivalries, and new pressures loom on the horizon. But she's not afraid. She welcomes it. I want to keep putting myself in tough situations, not because I like the pain, but because that's where I grow the most, she said. With this mindset, Sabalenka isn't just playing to win matches. She's playing to master herself. And in the end, that's the real victory. Conclusion. Practicing under pressure, a new paradigm. Aryna Sabalenka's post-Cincinnati statement wasn't just a reflection on her own training. It was a challenge to the tennis world, and perhaps to all of us. What if we stopped avoiding pressure and started training with it? What if we saw it not as a threat, but as a sharpening tool? What if we could turn those moments that make us doubt ourselves into the very fuel that pushes us to new heights? Sabalenka has shown that it's possible, not by being perfect, but by being persistent. Not by waiting for confidence to arrive, but by building it in the toughest moments. As she heads into the next chapter of her career, one thing is clear. The pressure is still there, but now Aryna Sabalenka is ready for it, and perhaps even excited by it.